Hey, so I'm going to give my thoughts on the new Thor movie. And I guess I'm contemplating if I want to do a traditional review or if I want to get into all the make this a more personal thing. Well, first I'll say I walked out of the movie. It's the second Marvel movie that I've ever walked out of, the first being Shang-Chi. And I probably would have walked out of the Eternals. At this point, I kind of knew what I was getting into when I went and saw it. It's Disney, and unfortunately, Disney's just turned into a despicable company. And they produce absolutely horrendous, horrible content. And I'd say the key word there is content. They're not producing any kind of art or anything like that anymore. I used to work for Disney. I still have some contacts and stuff within the company, and I've told a couple of my close friends about this, but there was a mandate within the company about 2 years ago that they would not greenlight any future projects that star a Caucasian male lead. They would actually prefer not to have any male leads in any of their films. Their main focus is women with their, or I should say their focus is on women with their main focus being on women of color. If that hasn't been evident in their content, then I don't know, you must be very, very obtuse. It's kind of why I was shocked that they were doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and if anybody watched that, you know who the real focus of that show was. Small aside to that, they were about a week out from filming Obi-Wan Kenobi about 2 years ago, and they fired the entire production crew throughout all the scripts because originally in the show, Obi-Wan Kenobi was going to be protecting Luke from the shadows, and they wanted it rewritten to make Leia the sole focus and to pretty much write Luke out of the show. And of course, Obi-Wan wasn't even the protagonist of the Obi-Wan series, it was Reva. In any event, so, going in, Thor Love and Thunder, when they announced this a couple years ago, it was a big Comic-Con reveal that Jane Foster was going to be playing female Thor, and Valkyrie is not the queen of Asgard, she's the king of Asgard, and she was going to be looking for her queen. So I was ready to kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit over that, but it looks like they're getting so much backlash from all the crap that they've been hurling at us that they didn't go full lesbian, female empower, whatever they were originally planning to do with this movie. But Thor is a complete buffoon through the entire movie. It's painful to watch, but they've kind of destroyed his character a couple movies ago. But yeah, he's actually painful to watch. He's so stupid, he's so incompetent, such a goofball. But I guess never mind, I won't go there. If you're threatened by masculinity, then you'll love him because he's very pretty to look at, but dumb as a box of rocks. Jane Foster, interestingly enough, is also kind of made to be somewhat of a buffoon in this. But guess who the smartest, never mind. The most capable character, the one that has absolutely no humor to her, that's, she's on point and she's smart and she knows what's going on. King Valkyrie. Surprise, surprise. I guess as far as the Jane Foster thing goes, she's somewhat matched to Thor in the sense that they're both kind of stupid and goofy. Zeus, I say this as a Greek guy who knows plenty of Greeks. Russell Crowe does a very, very good impression of a certain type of Greek guy. So if you've ever met that type of Greek guy, kind of fat, kind of boisterous, probably should be working in the kitchen of his restaurant, that's the version of Zeus that they decided to go with. And as a guy that has somewhat of a sense of humor, I can laugh at that. But I do want to point out that if it were any other ethnic group or racial group that they did a complete buffoonery stereotype of, they wouldn't be allowed to do that. But Greeks are technically white, so I guess that kind of worked. My only issue really with that, because at the surface level it's relatable and kind of funny in that sense, is the fact that Disney has done 2 projects now that feature Zeus, king of the gods. Hercules, 1997, where Zeus was a complete buffoon, a complete dumbass. And now this one, where he's not necessarily a buffoon, but he's not how you would expect Zeus to be portrayed. This is also going to be somewhat spoilery, so if you don't want to know anything about Thor, feel free to turn this off. Zeus is such an asshole, and at one point he appears to have killed a lovable character. As soon as he did that, I said Zeus is going to die, and sure enough, 5 seconds later, Thor kills Zeus, and we get the slogan a few minutes later: "Never meet your heroes, kids." I guess for me, because I'm an intuitive person, but I also know what's going on behind the scenes. If I wasn't reading into it, Hollywood and the left have spilled out their agenda. It's not even a hidden agenda anymore. They're so obvious with everything that they're doing. Clearly it's anti-religion. All the gods are stupid, they're evil, they're just taking advantage of the poor, stupid saps that follow them. I'm pretty sure I walked out of the movie, so they may very well all be annihilated by the end of the movie. And I mean the gods of every religion, so at least they're not discriminatory in that sense. But it does make a huge mockery of religion. Taika Waititi, while he was filming this movie, was caught having a threesome on a balcony with his wife, Rita Ora, or I guess she's his girlfriend, I don't know, and Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie. There are a lot of references that are made to orgies and polyamorous relationships in the movie, so it's obvious that he's kind of pushing his way of life. Again, these Marvel films, while they are a little more adult in nature, they are aimed at little kids, and there's a lot of sexual references in this, which one might say is maybe a little tone deaf, given all the controversy that Disney is surrounding Disney right now regarding their over-sexualizing children. Then, just as I was thinking about that while they were talking about a certain sexual thing in the film, they go and make a reference about eating children. There's just so much weird, sick shit that I'm sure if you're, again, completely oblivious to everything going on in the world, maybe you'd see some of this stuff and laugh it off. But there's a lot more to all that hidden shit. It's not innocent. What else was I gonna say? References over sexualizing children, eating children, the orgy stuff, anti-religion stuff. I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought. Somebody walked by. They were walking their dog. But I couldn't watch the movie and be divorced from any of that. It's just shocking to me. I had a really bad experience going into the movie. I pre-ordered my food, and it should have been there waiting for me when I got there. And for whatever reason, this particular theater, which I've gone to a couple times, it's right down the street from where I live, they never have your food ready. And then not only that, but you stand at the mobile order counter waiting, and no one even acknowledges that you're there. So I had to stand there for 5 minutes, not get acknowledged, and then and one person didn't even have anybody in their line. So eventually I had to get in line, wait through the line, just to show the person that I had a mobile order to get my order. And the popcorn was stale. 2 of the drink fountains didn't have ice, and then the other 2 didn't have the correct sodas that I wanted. So I had to go back and forth like 5 times to be able to get my drink, and it was flat, and I was sitting in the theater, and it was really bothering me that I was eating this stale popcorn and drinking this flat drink. And I guess in the past I would have, just did it and said, well, that sucks, this happens every once in a while. But today I thought, I'm already preparing to see a movie that I don't really want to see. I have the AMC A-list, so I pay a monthly subscription, but I don't actually pay to see the individual movies. And I just needed to kill some time today, which was why I was sitting down to watch it. In any event, I decided to go out and ask for a refund. I'm standing at the customer service desk, again, for like 5 minutes, not being acknowledged by anybody. And there's an individual who is sweeping up the floor. So finally I call them over, and it's like, well, what do you want? I was like, well, I'd like to get a refund on my popcorn and my drink. I said the popcorn's stale and the drink is flat. And there was a brief hesitation, and they were starting to say something, and I just started to call them out on the, on bad service. The fact that, like, this movie theater is in a mall that is completely vacant. Like, the whole mall has gone out of business. I think there are 2 stores in there. There's like a Bath and Body Works and something else. All that's keeping it alive right now is the movie theater. And it's like, are you guys trying to go out of business? Like, I stand around, I'm waiting for my mobile order, nobody's trying to help me. I've been standing at customer service for 5 minutes trying to, get a refund. Nobody's trying to help me until I call you over. And also, what else do you have to do all day? I used to work at a movie theater. I know how it goes. You don't have fresh popcorn. Your soda machines aren't properly stocked with ice. There isn't syrup in the thing. I didn't say all that. I started to, and the girl cut me off. And she starts, well, we're understaffed, and, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I just don't want to hear it. So then she got on her microphone to finally call a manager over, and she was pretty rude in how she was talking about me to the manager. And when the manager came out, that was when I lost my cool. I did reference the employee as they were leaving. I said, that employee was absolutely horrible, no customer service skills. I referred to them as an it, which caused the individual to flip out and, started, waving her hand and screaming about, you called me an it, blah, 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 blah. I said, sweetheart, today's day and age, I don't know your fucking gender pronouns. Your name is Ethan, you got a pair of tits and a buzz cut. Like, I don't know what the fuck you are. Get out of my face. I didn't swear, but I did call out the rest of it. The manager, at least, just seemed absolutely horrified by the whole thing. She was incredibly apologetic. The manager refunded the popcorn and the drink. I was gonna leave, but I decided to sit and watch the movie. But, based on that experience with that, non-binary, whatever the fuck it was, bad customer service, young, really speaks to this generation of, like, they have absolutely no skills. No customer service skills, no empathy or compassion for the situation. Just, she was not unpleasant until she got any kind of pushback, and then she became incredibly unpleasant because she's incredibly entitled. And, when she was storming off, well, she was leaving in a month anyway, so, blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't know. Her manager might have talked to her after I left, and today might have been her last day. But then I'm watching the movie, and it's like, King Valkyrie, King Valkyrie, King Valkyrie. She's flirting with a girl at some point. I don't know, all that bullshit is really starting to get on my nerves. Like, if you're a ruler and you're a woman, you're a queen. There's nothing wrong with being a queen. The definition of a queen would be a female ruler. If you're a man and you have a penis, then you would be a king. If you don't have that, then you're not a king. I don't know. There was the romantic angle, and I don't know, at this point I'm just rambling. It was not a good movie. it's unfortunate that that we live in a time period of absolute crap. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these movies just to create stuff that's not going to be long lasting or beloved for generations, like some of the movies of yesteryear. Maybe that's starting to change. I will say the one thing I'll give it credit for is okay, well, this is where I'm going to get into my personal thing for a quick minute. About 9 years ago, I moved to Florida the first time. I went through this like huge life transition, and funny enough, I had my first job in the insurance industry, which had just come to an end, and I moved to Florida, and I met someone, and anyway, that relationship didn't work out. But, you know, unfortunately, it has stayed with me, because as Thor says in the movie, there's no one like your first. Strangely enough, I dreamed about them last night. It was this weird experience where, like, I was in a room. I had just come out of a shower. I looked out my window and I saw a group of people, and I thought I saw my ex within the group. But, you know, in dreams, you never quite see things as they are. They're always a little, warped. And I just remember thinking, like, oh my God, I think that's my ex. I think I should run out there. I was in a towel, and I thought, well, it's not out of my personality to run out in a towel, but I was like, I don't know that would go over well. And then finally I realized, if I don't run out there right now and it is my ex, this might be my one chance to, I don't know, see them. I don't know what the point of seeing them was, but I ran out, and I grabbed their hand, they turned around, we made direct eye contact, and if anything else in the dream was warped and disturbed, I saw my ex's face, I looked right in their eyes, and all the anger and, you know, betrayal and hurt and all this other shit that, you know, has lived with me for a long time just kind of melted away. And I felt that, you know, your breath is taken away, and it's like, oh my God, it's you. And then I woke up. And then there's a lot of that like plays into this movie with Thor and Jane, so that wasn't pleasant to have all that kind of bubble up while I was watching the movie. But at one point back in 2013, we had a huge fight, and I went and saw Frozen. And Frozen was the beginning of this trend of strong, empowered females that don't need a love interest, and true love's kiss doesn't exist between a man and a woman, and it's the sister's kiss that, like, you know, saved the girl from the curse. Frozen was also a complete mess of a movie, by the way. Frozen 2 is good. Frozen 1 is terrible. And then I remember when we actually broke up, just after we broke up, Maleficent came out with Angelina Jolie, which was the live-action Sleeping Beauty. Loved the Disney cartoon Sleeping Beauty. I went and saw that, and my first relationship had come to an end. I desperately needed to believe in love, that love could conquer all. And then Disney Frozened me again, where the prince kisses her and doesn't wake her up, and it's the kiss of a foster mother that had been so abusive to her entire life is the one true love that woke her up. I guess the point that I'm trying to make pretty badly is that, in a weird roundabout way, this movie is very interesting in the sense that it connects a lot of dots that have kind of been spread out over 9 years, kind of a perfect storm of weird events. What I will say, though, is it at least looked like Thor and Jane were actually romantically connecting and possibly going to get together at the end. To be honest, I left because I needed to put in a food order, and I realized getting in my last minute food order was a lot more important than seeing the end of that movie. It'll be on Disney Plus in about 45 days if I want to watch the final battle scene. But I don't know, perhaps the winds of change are blowing, perhaps things are starting to change a little bit. I mean, the only thing I saw in the movie that I didn't expect was, like I said, kind of the love connection between Thor and Jane. Don't know if they're going to get together at the end or not, but at least they both seemed to want to get together, which to me, that's absolutely shocking that Disney would produce a film where a man and woman fall in love again and get back together by the end. But we shall see how things progress. Would I recommend seeing Thor Love and Thunder? No. Would I recommend going to the AMC in Sarasota? No. That's kind of the end of my rant. I guess I will watch this and then decide whether or not I want to post it online. I got to go get my food though, because at this point, the restaurant's about to close and it's probably past ready. All right, bye.